Actually, mas madali siya kaysa sa benzene. Okay? Kasi yung benzene, iba yung style ng nomenclature niya, di ba? But for these compounds here, super simple lang yung nomenclature niya. Actually, it follows the nomenclature of alkanes lang. Okay? So, kung ano yung naming mo sa alkane, similar lang din itong apat na to. Okay? So, yan. So, hindi tayo masyadong maninibago. Kasi yung benzene, kakaiba eh. Kailangan alamin mo yung common name eh, di ba? But for alcohol, ether, thiols, amines, hindi ganun. It follows the way we name alkanes. Okay? Of course, yun yung ating first part of the discussion. Lahat sila, discuss natin mga nomenclature. Then after that, we will discuss some of the characteristic reaction. So I'd like to emphasize wala na tayong mechanism. Just like chapter 7, di ba sa mechanism may mga araw-araw pa. Okay? Pero pagdating dito, we will just determine the final product. No? So yun na lang yung task na i-assign ko sa inyo. Kailangan alam nyo ano yung product after. Okay? So yan. Yun lang kailangan kabisaduhin. Yung mga arrows, kahit wag nyo na siya i-focus. No? Although I will present some arrows, pero ang important is yung ending. No? Ano yung mangyayari after the reaction. So, yun lang gusto ko malaman nyo. Just like yung ginawa natin sa benzene. 'Di ba? So, ano yung kakabit? Ano yung matatanggal? So, ganun lang. Okay. So, yan. So, I guess with that, we can actually start. No? So, we are recording now. And we have 4 functional groups here. We have the alcohol, ether, thiols, and amine. But in order for us to maximize the time, we will discuss alcohol and ethers today. And then yung thiols and amines sa Thursday. Okay? So, ganun yung flow natin. Alcohol ethers today, and then thiols, amines next time. Dito, magbibigay ako ng practice quiz na. Okay? And dito ako magbibigay practice quiz. But for chapter 7, wala na. Kasi super dali nun. Okay? So again, let's discuss the first two functional groups, alcohol ethers, and then susunod na yung thiolamine. Bakit sila yung magkakasama? No? Di ba kayo nagtataka? Okay. Bakit sila yung magkakasama? Kasi pansin nyo, chapter 6, puro hydrocarbon. Chapter 7, puro benzene. Chapter 8, sila magkakasama. Eh, hindi ba parang magkakaiba sila? Okay. Apparently, may similarities sila. Okay, kaya sila yung magkakasama sa chapter na to. And due to that similarity, mas mapapadali discussion natin. Okay? And that's why, 4 na functional groups agad yung mga cover natin. Okay? So with that being said, let's begin with alcohols. Okay? So alam nyo, in your chapter 6 lecture, that alcohols are functional groups, no? Are organic compounds with a functional group containing OH, no? Or the hydroxyl group. Okay? So, ang shortcut dito is the ROH. No? Daro. No? Yung OH na yan, that is the hydroxyl groups. No? And that hydroxyl group is attached to a tetrahedral carbon. Okay? Basta nakakabit yung OH sa tetrahedral carbon, then that's called an alcohol. Okay? So, yan. And there are many alcohols out there. We have the methanol, the ethanol, isopropanol. Okay? So, I think nabigyan ko na kayo ng idea dito. Pero, dagdagan lang natin. So, methanol is the simplest alcohol. It has the formula CH3OH. So, basically, galing yan sa methane. Ang ginawa lang, yung hydrogen, pinalitan ng OH. Kaya, naging CH3OH. Okay? So, yan. So, methanol is the simplest alcohol. It is widely used in the laboratory. Yan yung ginagamit to extract natural products sa halaman. So, kunwari mag-aral kayo ng botany. Yan. Kung gusto nyo kunin yung mga nasa halaman, ilulublob nyo siya sa methanol para makuha nyo yung mga polar substances. Okay? So, yan yun. Methanol. Okay? However, this has been a source of issue lately due to the lambanog poisoning. Okay? Familiar kayo niyan kasi before pandemic to, around 2019. So, ano nangyari doon? So, yung mga gumagawa ng lambanog, apparently, some of them produce methanol. Okay? Ano ba dapat yun ang po-produce kapag fermentation? Ang kailangan na po-produce ay ethanol. Yun, ito. Ethanol. So, kailangan ito. So, ang mangyari, yung glucose from, let's say, buko juice, yun yung ginagamit sa lambanog, di ba? Buko juice, o kaya minsan asukal lang, glucose. So, yung sugar na yon, i-ferment yon using bacteria. So, of course, in the fermentation process, it usually begins with glycolysis. So, glycolysis muna. After 10 steps, you produce your pyruvate. Once you have your pyruvate, mag-undergo na yan ng anaerobic fermentation with the help of the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme in your yeast. No? So, yan. So, kailangan mo ng yeast. So, it contains that enzyme, alcohol dehydrogenase, and mapuproduce doon is alcohol. Okay? So, usually, kapag pyruvate, nako-convert yan into ethanol. Okay? That's why asukal yung ginagamit pag gusto mo gumawa ng alak. Okay? So, ito ginagamit sa sa San Miguel, okay? Sa ano pa ba? San Miguel, sa Tanduay Distillery. So, yan. Mga malalaking tank ng asukal, tapos pina-ferment lang nila para maging pyruvate. Then, eventually, by addition of yeast, magiging ethanol. However, since yung ating product ay galing sa mga halaman, no? Galing yan sa mga buko-buko. So, ano yan? May mga other byproducts yan. Kasi hindi lang naman glucose yun nandyan. No? Marami ding ibang substances. So, nangyayari is that when you do fermentation dun sa mga buko-buko, there is a chance that you produce a methanol molecule. Okay? Methanol is deadly. Okay, ayun na lang sasabihin ko. So, methanol is deadly. Mamamatay ka talaga dyan, no? Even matalsikan ka niyan, it can cause severe harm kahit isang patak lang. Kunwari sa mata, matalsikan ka lang ng maliit na methanol, you can be blind. Okay? Ganun siya ka deadly. Okay? However, yung ethanol, safe siya for consumption. Pwede siya kainin ng tao. Okay? So, yun. Bakit? No? That has something to do with their oxidation product. Okay? So, later, discuss natin yun sa reactions. No? Kasi kasama naman yun eh. So, sa reaction ng alcohols, makukwento ko kung bakit deadly si methanol. And bakit si ethanol okay lang inumin. Okay? Of course, with moderation. Okay? So, ganun. So, mamaya, pag nag-reactions tayo, dun yung malalaman bakit si methanol masama. Si ethanol, pwede inumin, but in moderation. Okay? And the next alcohol that we are very familiar with is the isopropanol. Okay? So, isopropanol, it looks like this. Another name of isopropanol is 2-propanol. Okay? So, yan. So, that's 2-propanol, isopropanol, or isopropyl alcohol. Saan ginagamit yan? Sa alcohol natin. Kaka-replenish ko lang. So, yan. So, mapapansin nyo, isopropyl alcohol. Is it safe to drink this? No. Okay. Although, pwede naman, pero hindi siya advised. Okay? So, kung makapansin nyo, medyo mapakla siya. Pag ginanon mo sa dila mo, medyo mapakla. Wala talaga siyang ganun taste, no? Hindi talaga siya mapakla. Pero, yung mga manufacturer, ginagawa nila is that nilalagyan nila to ng pampapait. Okay? Para hindi mo inumin talaga to discourage you from drinking isopropyl alcohol. Okay? Bakit kailangan ng pampapait? No? Kasi ang ating isopropyl alcohol, it is produced from non-organic hindi organic molecules lahat eh. It is produced in a non-natural way. Okay? Kasi yung ating ethanol, napoproduce yan by fermentation. Pero yung isopropanol, medyo iba yung mechanism niya. Okay? So, hindi talaga siya fit for human consumption kasi hindi siya galing sa food product. Okay? Maybe galing sa ibang substance. Sa ibang substances yan. Okay? Kaya, it is discouraged to drink isopropyl alcohol. Kaya siya nilagyan ng pampapait na para hindi nyo tikman. Okay? But the ethanol, galing yan sa natural product, glucose. So, pwede mo talaga siya inumin. Okay? So, yan. So, those are some of the examples of alcohols. No? But before we proceed with the reaction, of course, it is important for us to name them. Ano pangalan nila? Okay? So, just like I said earlier, the nomenclature for alcohol, ether, thiols, and amine, they are very similar with how we name alkanes. Ano lang papalitan natin? Basahin natin. So, ito yun. Very similar siya with alkane. Kasi number 1, you have to look for the longest chain with the OH group. Okay? Kailangan yung OH nakadugtong sa parent chain. Okay? So, yung OH nakadugtong sa parent chain. And then after that, anong gagawin mo daw? Yung ending ng alkane from E, gagawin mong all. Okay? Kaya napansin nyo, yung methane kanina, pag nilagyan mo yun ng OH substituent, ano na pangalan niya? Methanol. So basically, yung E, papalitan mo lang ng all. So from E, magiging all. There will be a need to indicate sang OH nakadugtong yung carbon. Sang carbon nakadugtong yung OH. Especially kasi alam natin, meron tayong tinatawag na isomers, di ba? Constitutional isomers. So sometimes you have to indicate saan nakakabit yung OH. And then after that, if you have other substituents, we follow the way how we deal with them sa alkanes. Okay? So basically, in a sense, parang alkane lang siya. Okay? However, yung OH, pag meron nun, ang gagawin ninyo is that yung E ng alkane, it will be converted to all. Okay? So, methane, methanol. Ethane, ethanol. Propane, propanol. Butane, butanol. So on and so forth. Okay? So, ganun yung ating gagawin. Very simple lang, right? Okay? So, yan. So, just for example, we have here ethanol. Okay? So, ethanol yan kasi dalawang carbons yan. So, ethane. However, you have an OH attached. No? So, kaya ang pangalan yan ay ethane originally, but because of the OH, you change it to all. Okay, so ethanol. The common name for this one is ethyl alcohol. Okay, but we are okay with the IUPAC name. Okay na yung IUPAC name. And so, ethyl alcohol. Siguro nagtataka kayo, no? Ano po pinagkaiba ng isopropyl sa ethyl? Kasi may mga alcohol na binibenta like this na ethyl alcohol. So actually, wala naman silang pinagkaiba talaga. Okay? Other than the structure. You can use them as disinfectant. Pero, again, if ang purpose ng alcohol ay disinfectant, huwag nyo siya inumin. Okay? Ibig sabihin, kung may nakita kayong ganito na ethyl alcohol, hindi pa rin siya pwede inumin kahit na ethyl alcohol siya. Kasi siya ay intended for disinfectant lang. Kung gusto niyo minom ng ethyl alcohol, bumili kayo ng alak. No? So, ganun. But, to consume the ethanol, that is for hand washing lang or disinfecting, wag gagawin. Okay? Kasi iba yung process nila. Okay? So, hindi sila good for human consumption. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, bilangin mo carbon chain, and then ethane yan, and then yung OH mo. Okay? So, pag nakakita ka ng OH, yung E, palitan mo ang all. Ethanol. Diba sabi ko, kailangan mo mag-indicate ng locant. No? Kailangan lagyan mo, saan nakalagay si OH? In our case, pag ethanol, hindi mo na kailangan ilagay yung 1-ethanol. Okay? Baka isipin nyo kasi, ito po yung carbon 1, ito po yung carbon 2. Okay, so 1 ethanol siya. Actually, hindi mo kailangan ng 1. Just write the ethanol. Bakit? Kasi if you place your alcohol dito sa dulo, ito din yung carbon number 1 mo. Okay? So, same lang din sila. Whether nasa right yung OH or nasa left, same pa rin yung carbon number mo. So, for ethanol, you don't need to indicate 1 ethanol. Okay? So, just write ethanol. However, kapag tatlo na yung carbon mo, dun mo na kailangan maglagay ng number kung saan nakakabit yung OH. Kasi dalawa version yan. So let's take a look here sa propanol. So dalawa yung propanol natin. 1 propanol, 2 propanol. Okay? So propanol yan kasi may propane carbon ka dito, tatlong carbons. However, look at the position of your OH. So kapag nasa dulo yung OH, it will be on the carbon number 1. Okay? By the way, kung nasan si OH, siya yung number 1. Okay? So, carbon number 1 nakadugtong si OH. So, 1 propanol yan. But, you can also put your OH dito sa gitna. Okay? So, that is your 2 propanol. Okay? So, yan. So, that will be your 2 propanol. Okay? Do we have 3 propanol? Meron ba tayong 3 propanol? Wala. Bakit wala, sir? You may ask. Walang 3-propanol kasi pag dito ko ilagay sa dulo yung OH, carbon number 1 to. Pag dito sa gitna, carbon number 2 yan. Pero kapag dito sa kaliwa, ko ilagay yung OH, babalik tayo sa carbon number 1. Okay? So, walang 3-propanol. Okay? So, just 1 and 2 propanol lang. So, yan. Hopefully clear tayo kasi parang alkane lang siya. Ano lang yung papalitan mo? Yung E ng propane, gagawin mong all. Tapos indicate mo saan carbon number siya nakakabit. In our case, 1. Okay? Kung saan nakadugtong si OH, dun ka banda mag-start mag-number. Okay? So, yan. So, ito, this will be 2 propanol because the OH is on the second carbon. Okay? So, ganun lang. Check din natin tong nasa baba. So, this one is butanol. Specifically, 1 butanol. Okay? So, this is 1 butanol kasi dito nakakabit yung OH. So, dito ka mag-start mag-number. Okay? So, you have 4 carbons. So, that's butane. May OH ka. So, yung E, palitan mo ng all. Sa nakadugtong yung OH sa 1. So, 1 butanol. For this one, anong pangalan niya? So, that's 2 butanol daw. So, saan malapit yung OH? Dito or dito? Eh di syempre sa right, no? If you count from left to right, magiging 3 yung locant ni OH. But, if you count from right to left, magiging 2 yung locant ni OH. Of course, 2 is lower than 3, so we choose this kind of numbering. Okay? So, pag ganun yung numbering natin, from right to left. Kasi lower yung 2 kaysa sa 3. Okay? So, kaya ang pangalan niya ay 2-butanol. 4 yung carbons. So, butane. May OH. So, yung E, palitan mo ng all. Tapos, saan nakadugtong yung OH? Sa carbon number 2. Ganun lang ka-simple. Okay? Dali lang, no? Ganun lang siya. Okay? You can do the same for the other substances. Okay? So, di ko na sila masyado explain. So, ito. So, this is your parent chain. Okay? Pwede yan, pwede ito. Tapos ang idea, your parent chain is 3-carbon chain. So, that's propanol. And then, of course, you start counting near the OH. So ito yung carbon near to OH. So that's 1-propanol. Paano naman kapag may substituent ka? You follow the same rules as alkanes. Okay? Pangalanan mo muna yung substituent, then saka na yung parent. Okay? So that's why the name is 2-methyl-1-propanol. Okay? So substituent followed by the parent. So same thing as this one. So ano yung parent natin dito? So this is the parent. Okay? Medyo hindi obvious, pero ito yung longest carbon chain that we can create. So 1, 2, 3. So kaya propanol yon. And mapapansin nyo, on the carbon number 2, ayan, so mapapansin nyo, on the carbon number 2, may methyl ka, and andun din yung OH. So syempre, substituent muna. So 2-methyl. Tapos, since nasa carbon number 2 din yung OH, ano pangalan nun? E di 2-propanol. So the complete name is 2-methyl-2-propanol. Okay? If you have a cyclic compound, just like this, ganun din. Okay? So, cyclohexanol. What if, kunwari, may substituent ka? What will be the name of this molecule? So, ang counting dito is you prioritize the OH. So, siya muna yung bigyan mo na number 1. It's number 2 yan. So, this will be 2-methyl cyclohexanol. Do we need to indicate 1 for cyclic alcohols? Hindi na. Okay? Kapag aliphatic, again, ano meaning ng aliphatic? Pag aliphatic, linear. Okay? So, katulad ng mga to linear, dun mo kailangan i-indicate yung carbon number 1. Pero kapag yan ay cyclic, wag mo na i-indicate yun na carbon number 1 yung alcohol. Kasi automatically, number 1 talaga siya. Okay? But for this aliphatic chain, the linear chain, you have to indicate yung 1. Okay? Kung kailangan. Okay. Kailan uli kailangan yung 1? Kapag tatlo na yung carbon mo. Propanol, butanol, pentanol, hexanol. Yan. So, dun mo na kailangan mag-indicate ng 1. Pero kapag ethanol, methanol, hindi na. Okay? So, ganun lang nomenclature. Basically, it follows the way we name alcohols. Alkanes. Okay? Basta tandaan nyo lang yung numbering, doon ka mag-start malapit sa OH. Pag cyclic yan, yung OH yung carbon number 1. Tapos, for the other substituents, as usual pa rin yung kanyang naming. Okay? So, yan. So, ganun lang siya ka-simple. So, with that, okay, so I will be needing your inputs later. Tulungan niya ako with item siguro C and D. Ako na dito sa dalawa, tapos kayo na dito sa dalawa. Okay. So while I'm answering this, kung feel nyo kaya nyo na sagutan, i-type nyo na sa chat box. Okay? Huwag na kayo mahiya, 5 lang tayo eh. So i-type nyo na sa chat box, ano pangalan nito? Ano pangalan nito? But of course, I will demonstrate it to you muna. Okay? So we have this molecule. Okay? Hanapin mo muna yung longest carbon chain. So, ito yon. So, 1, carbon, 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 carbon. So, 5 carbon, yung longest chain. So, basically, this is pentane. Pero, may OH ka. So, anong gagawin mo? Yung E ng pentane, papalitan mo to all. Pentanol. Okay? So, pentanol yung parent name mo. Tapos ano yung susunod natin gagawin? Di numbering. So san ka mag-start? Di dun banda sa OH. Pag dito ka nag-start, malayo sa OH. Pag dito ka nag-start, malapit sa OH. So dito ka mag-start. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So mapapansin mo, yung OH nasa second carbon. So that's 2-pentanol. Pero may nakakalimutan tayo. Meron ka pang methyl. So asan yung methyl? Nasa pang-apat na carbon. So idugtong mo yan sa harap, no? So that's 4-methyl 2-pentanol. So again, just like what we said last time, same lang halos, no? Sa alkanes, no? You name your substituents followed by the parent. However, yung parent mo, indicate mo saan nasaan yung OH. Okay? So that's how we name this compound now. So that's 4-methyl 2-pentanol. Okay tayo doon? Sige. Let me know pag may clarification, ha. Tapos kung kaya nyo na sagutan yung C and D, i-type nyo na sa chat box. Okay. So letter B tayo. So for letter B, you have a cyclic compound. Okay? And again, ano sabi ko kapag cyclic? Saan ka mag-start magbilang? Dun sa may OH. Okay? So eto, magka-clockwise counting ako. Clockwise yung counting ko. Kasi nasa next carbon yung methyl. So clockwise yung counting ko. Okay? So ano muna pangalan ng parent? So mapansin mo, yung parent ay hexagon. And ano yung pangalan ng hexagon? Cyclohexane, di ba? Tapos since may OH ka, edi yung E, palitan mo ng all. Cyclohexanol. And as I said, yung substituent mo nasa carbon number 2. So this will be 2-methyl cyclohexanol. Do I need to indicate na nasa carbon 1 yung OH kapag cyclo? Hindi na. Okay, hindi na siya kailangan. Automatic na yan. Pero kapag aliphatic, gaya ng sinabi ko, pag linear chain, doon mo kailangan i-indicate kung siya ba ay nasa 1, nasa 2, yan. Pero kapag cyclic, hindi na kailangan i-indicate na nasa 1 yung OH kasi automatic siya yung start ng counting kapag cyclic. Okay? So this compound is 2-methyl cyclohexanol. But as you can see, may wedges ka. Hala. So may wedges ka. So tignan mo, yung isa naka-up, yung isa naka-down. So pwede na yan trans, no? Gawin mo na lang yan trans. Okay? So that's trans 2-methyl cyclohexanol. Pwede ba dito, sir, yung RS? Pwede rin, pero wag na natin pahirapan sarili natin. Okay? So yan. So okay na tayo sa cis and trans isomerism. Okay? Pero pwede rin yung RNS, but I will not give you any examples like that sa quiz and even sa exam. Okay? So yan. So that's how you name the items A and B. Now, your task is to name letter C and letter D. Again, just identify the parent chain. Yung E, palitan ng all. Asan yung OH, indicate mo using a locant. And if there are any other substituents, pangalanan nyo rin sila. Similar to alkanes. Okay? So, I will wait for your responses sa C and D. Okay? And if may clarification, just let me know. Oops, sorry. Napindot. Ayan. So, anong pangalan ng C? Anong pangalan ni D? Okay, sabi ni Leisha, 2-heptanol. Okay, that is for letter C daw. Let's see if may mag-confirm then. Weight ko responses niya. So, dalawa pa na confirmation. Okay. Nawala yung iba nagtatype. So, sige. Oh yeah, this is 2-heptanol. Bakit siya 2-heptanol? 2-heptanol kasi 7 carbons yan, no? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, heptane. Pero may OH. So, yung heptane, gawin mong heptanol. Then, indicate mo, nasan yung OH? Nasa second carbon. Okay? So, again, kung saan malapit yung OH, dun ka magbibilang. Okay? Ang OH ang priority natin. Okay? So, siya yung kailangan lowest. Okay? Sige. How about letter D? Sige. Ano pangalan ng letter D? Ano pangalan ng letter D? Ano kaya sa D? Sige. Sige, try lang. Okay lang. 2-ethyl, 1-propanol. Okay. How about the others? How about the others? Ano kaya pwedeng pangalan niya pa? Dali, huwag kayong mahiya. Ano pa kaya name niya? 2,3,3 dimethyl propanol. Okay. So I guess ibibigay ko na yung name niya. Okay, so sige. Let me just redraw the molecule. Oopsie. Redraw ko lang yung molecule para mas malaki space natin. So it looks like this. And tama ba? Yeah, it looks like that. Okay. Ayusin ko lang. So ganito na. So kunwari ganyan. Siyempre minsan nakakalito yung OH, di ba? Kasi isipin nyo yung carbon yan. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Pwede ganun. So ako, ang isa-suggest ko na gawin nyo is takpan nyo muna yung OH. Okay. Ano muna pangalan nito? So hanapin mo yung parent nito. So this is 1, 2, 3. This is propane. Pero since may OH ka doon, so that is propanol. Okay? So propanol. Tama yung propanol. And yung counting, so since nasa right yung OH, edi dun ka mag-start. So 1, 2, 3. Okay? So nasa right yung OH, so dun ka mag-start ng counting. So 1, 2, 3. Hindi kasama to sa 1 oxygen yan eh. Just the carbon yung start na. So ito yung carbon eh. So 1, 2, 3. Kaya nga propanol. Kasi tatlo yung carbon. Okay? Tas ano pa? Yung OH nasa first carbon. So that will be 1 propanol. Okay? Nasa first carbon yung OH. So 1 propanol. Tas ano pa? May dalawa ka pang substituent. So 1, 2. May dalawa kang methyl. So dimethyl. Tapos nasan yung dimethyl? Anong carbon sila? Carbon 2. Okay? So ang pangalan niya talaga is 2, 2 dimethyl 1 propanol. Okay? Na-clarify ba natin bakit ganyan yung name niya? Okay. So again, when counting, wag niyo isama yung oxygen, just the carbon. Okay? So just the carbon next to the OH. So 1, 2, 3 propanol. Nasa first carbon yung OH, so 1 propanol. So second carbon may dalawang methyl, kaya 2, 2 dimethyl 1 propanol. Okay? So I hope clear tayo. Pag hindi, let me just let me know no, kung paano, kung saan nahihirapan. Okay? So that's why for this chapter, mayroon na tayo uling practice quiz. Okay? So meron na uli dito. Okay, so that's the name, 2,2-dimethyl 1-propanol. So now, tapos na tayo sa nomenclature, ganun lang siya. So practice lang talaga. No? So for now, focus tayo on the characteristic reactions. Okay, so there are several reactions of alcohol, such as acid-base reaction, phenol. Na-discuss na natin to last week, di ba? Ayan, so last week, nag-phenol tayo. And then we also have dehydration of alcohol and oxidation of alcohol. Dito natin ma-explain bakit delikado si methanol. Okay? So yan. So tatlo lang yan, pero kabisaduhin nyo yung mga nangyayari. Okay? So sige. So first one is the acid-base reaction of phenol. Now, alam nyo na to, last week sabi natin that phenols are weak acids, no? Bakit sila uli nagiging weak acid? Because it is resonance stabilized, no? Naalala nyo pa ba yung idea ng resonance? Yung resonance yun yung umiikot-ikot yung electron sa molecule. Kasi kapag itong ating phenol naging acid, mawawala yung H. Maging negative yan. Okay? So O-. Itong negative na to, since may resonance sa paligid, pwede siya umikot-ikot dyan. Whenever your negative charge gets stabilized by resonance, then pwede siya maging acidic. Okay? So, yan yung dahilan. Bakit siya acidic? It is the negative charge of oxygen when hydrogen leaves is resonance stabilized. Okay? So, itong negative charge sa oxygen, pwede siya paikot-ikutin dito sa molecule. So, yun yung dahilan bakit siya acidic. Okay? So, kapag resonance stabilized, ibig sabihin, pwede siya mag-act as acid. So, it can react with a base, forming salt and water. Okay? So, just like last time, yung diniscuss natin. Okay? So, yan. So, that's the first reaction. Second reaction is the dehydration. Okay? From the word itself, dehydration, nawawala yung water. Okay? So, when you dehydrate alcohol, you remove water. Okay? Ito yung removal of water. Ano mapoproduce kapag nag-dehydration ka? When you remove water, you will produce an alkene. Kumbaga, ito yung kabaliktaran ng diniscuss natin sa alkene. Di ba sa alkene meron tayong hydration reaction? Naalala niyo pa ba yan? Hydration reaction, ano nangyayari doon? When you add water, ano mapoproduce? You will produce alcohol. Diba? Ayan, naalala nyo pa ba siya? Ayan yun. If you have an alkene, ito yon, double bond. Pag nilagyan mo ng tubig, magiging alcohol siya. Pero, ito naman, kabaliktaran. You begin with an alcohol, i-dehydrate mo siya para maging alkene. So, ito yung kabaliktaran na reaction. Okay? So, yan. So, kailan nangyayari yung dehydration reaction? So, that can be done by either heating your alcohol para mawala yung tubig. Pwede rin naman na, lagyan mo siya ng concentrated na acid, especially sulfuric acid. Okay? So, patakan mo lang siya ng acid na very strong like sulfuric acid or phosphoric acid. Made-dehydrate siya, magiging alkene siya. Okay? So, basahin natin yung mga sinabi dito. For primary alcohol, sila yung pinakamahirap i-dehydrate. Okay? Pag secondary, okay lang yung dehydration niya. Pag tertiary, mas madali yung dehydration. Okay? So, yun yung trend niya. So, kapag primary alcohol, mahirap i-dehydrate. Pero yung secondary and tertiary, madali lang. Okay? So, yun. So, basta ang idea, kapag dehydration, that's the removal of H2O to produce an alkene. Okay? So, ito yun. Ito yung alcohol mo. Itong H, pati OH, mawawala. Maging double bond yun. Maging alkene. Okay? So, that's the reverse of what we discussed in the alkenes, no? Yung addition reaction ng alkene, kabaliktaran siya. Okay? So, eto. So, here are some examples. Okay? So, we have ethanol to ethylene. Paano, sir, mangyayari yan? Paano ko malalaman yung product na isusulat ko? Ganito lang. Okay? So, ako, I highly suggest i-draw mo yung Lewis structure banda sa OH. Okay? I-draw mo ito. I-Lewis natin yan. Okay, so ito yon, ethanol. Okay? So, CH3, CH2, OH. So, ethanol. Okay? Pag dehydration, ang sabi ko, yung water mawawala. Saan galing yung water? Sa sa OH at sa katabing hydrogen. Sa katabi ha. Kukunin niya yung katabing hydrogen. So mawawala sila. And then itong natirang bonds magiging magiging double bond yan. Okay? So that's where we were able to produce ethylene. Okay? So again, paano uli yung gagawin? Mag-draw ka muna ng Lewis structure para mas makita mo. Itong OH, kukunin niya yung hydrogen ng kabilang carbon. Again, ng kabilang carbon. So kukunin nila, magsasama sila to form water. So H2O na sila. Then yung natira, gawin mo na lang double bond. Okay? So yan. So yun yung dahilan bakit yun yung product natin, ethylene. Okay? Let's do the same dito. So try natin to. So for cyclohexanol, wag mo yung drawing lahat. Ito lang. Yung Lewis structure bandang OH lang. Okay? So medyo lakihan ko. Okay, so ito yung cyclohexanol. So nilubis ko itong part na to. Okay? Para makita mo saan kukunin yung mga hydrogen. Okay? So again, just like what we did earlier, ganun pa rin. Yung OH mo, kukunin niya yung hydrogen ng katabing carbon. Hindi ng sarili ha, hindi yan. Yung katabi. So kukunin niya yung katabi niya. Tapos anong gagawin niya? Edi buburahin mo yan. Okay? Tapos wala nang nakabond doon, diba? So gawin mo, pag-partnerin mo na lang sila, you will produce your cyclohexene. Okay? So ganun lang. So yun dahilan ba't nagkaka-double bond, no? So kung natanggal yung H pati OH, yung mga single lines doon, pwede sila magdugtong to be double bond. Okay? So again, let me just show you again. Ito yung OH. Kukunin niya yung hydrogen ng katabi. So magsasama sila, magpo-form sila ng water. Ngayon, wala na silang kapartner. So sila na lang magta-tandem, okay? To form your double bond, okay? So that's why you have your cyclohexene. Ganun lang. So ganun lang siya, okay? And then we have this one, okay? So we have that one. So again, important na i-draw mo muna yung Lewis structure para makita mo saan ka pwede kumuha ng hydrogens, okay? Okay, so ito, drawing ko. Pero ito lang yung pinakita kong part sa Lewis. Ito yan. Okay? So itong part na yon, ito yon sa Lewis. So ano huli gagawin natin? Yung OH, kukunin niya yung hydrogen ng katabi. Magpo-form sila ng water. So matatanggal sila. Tapos ano mangyayari sa naiwan? Magpe-pair sila to form the double bond. Okay? Ayun. So again, let me show you again. Okay. So itong OH, kukunin niya yung hydrogen ng katabi. Mawawala sila. Magpo-form sila ng water. And then since wala na silang kapartner, sila na lang magsasama to produce this product. Okay? Siguro you might be thinking, pwede rin ba yun, sir, dito? Yung hydrogen dito yung kunin? Pwede. Okay? Pwede naman dyan. Pwede rin dito sa taas. Okay? Kasi pare-parehas naman yung CH3 to begin with, di ba? Pare-parehas naman silang CH3. Ibig sabihin, kahit saan ka kumuha ng hydrogen, okay lang. Okay. Pwede dito, pwede dito. Ayun, pwede ba doon kumuha ng hydrogen? Hindi. Bakit? Kasi malayo na. Okay. Ay, hindi, pwede rin pala. Nasa taas lang pala. Pwede rin pala doon. Okay. Dito naman yung double bond nun kung sakali. Pag dito ka, dito yung double bond. Pag dito yung double bond. Okay? So, same lang. Kasi pare-parehas lang naman CH3 yan. Na? So, same lang yung magiging product mo. Okay? So, again, yung pinakita ko, very simplified version siya. And okay na tayo doon. Okay? Yung kukunin ni hydrogen, kukunin ni ni OH, yung hydrogen ng kabila, magpo-form ng water, tapos yung matira magpo-form ng double bond. So, okay na yon. But in reality, ito talaga yung mechanism. Pero hindi nyo na kailangan masyado aralin to. Okay? So, ang nangyayari lang dito, in the presence of acid, the OH gets protonated. Okay? So, magiging H2O siya. Tapos yan, matatanggal yung water. And then, you will have a carbocation. And mangyayari, we will regain the catalyst. Yung water na natanggal, kailangan maging H3O uli. Okay? So, kukunin niya yung hydrogen na yon to form the double bond. Okay? So, yan yung pinaka-mechanism niya. But again, kahit di nyo na masyado aralin yan. Basta mahalaga, alam nyo saan mapupunta yung double bond. No? Always sa katabi lang. Okay? So, yung napansin nyo, yung examples natin, very simple lang, no? Like, kuha ka lang ng hydrogen sa katabi. Okay na yan. What if hindi parehas yung katabi niya? Okay? So, kunwari, ito, we have 1-methyl cyclohexanol. See? Kunwari, ito, we have 1-methyl cyclohexanol. Ano yung mga products? Itong dalawa. Bakit sinabi natin ito major, ito minor? Anong meaning nun? Ganito. Pakita ko bakit muna dalawa yung products na pwede magawa. Okay? Show ko sa inyo bakit ito pwede maging ganito, pwede maging ganon. Okay? So, dito tayo. So, again, to begin with, we have this. Okay? So, 1-methyl cyclohexanol. So, alam nyo, itong OH, pwede siya kumuha ng hydrogen sa mga katabing hydrogen. Di ba may hydrogen dito? May hydrogen dito. Tsaka may hydrogen dito. So, pwede niya kunin yung isa sa mga yan. Tapos, dun siya mag-form ng double bond dyan o kaya dito. Okay? So, pakita ko. Paano naging dalawa yung products? Okay? Bakit dalawa? Bakit may ganito? Bakit may ganon? Okay? So, I'll show you dito sa baba. So, again, ang kailangan natin, ipakita muna natin yung Lewis structure dito sa part na to. Okay? So, dun lang sa part na yan. Dito na lang. Okay? So, una, what if dito siya kumuha ng hydrogen? Is it the same as dito? Same lang yan. Okay? So, same lang. Kasi parehas dalawa naman hydrogen doon. So, same lang. Okay? So, same lang. Pwede dito, pwede doon. Pero ako pinakita ko yung dito sa baba. Kasi, may space dito eh. So, yan. So, pwede niya kunin yung hydrogen nito. Pwede rin ito. Same lang yan kasi pares naman sila dalawang hydrogen. Okay? So, same lang yan. So, ito yung pinapakita ko. So, ito yung A. So, dito tayo kukuha ng hydrogen, okay? So, ano uli mangyayari? Yung OH, kukunin yung H, form sila ng water. So, buruhin mo yan. Form sila ng water. O ngayon, wala na silang partner. Ano gagawin nila? Sila na lang magpa-partner. Okay? They will form the double bond. Okay? So, if I draw it, ito yung itsura niya. Okay? And yung water na na-produce. Paano naman kapag dito? Okay? What if pag dito? Okay? So, ito, again, ito same lang as doon. Okay? So, indicate ko na lang din. So, either dito sa taas, dito, ito yung product. Pero what if dito siya sa tatlo yung hydrogen? Ano yung mangyayari? Okay? Let me show you. Mababa natin onte. Okay? So again, dalawa options na. Pwede dito, pwede rin dito. Sa dalawa hydrogen, pwede rin sa tatlo yung hydrogen. Okay? So dito tayo sa tatlo naman yung hydrogen kukunin. Okay? So, ganun pa rin. Okay? So si OH, kukunin niya yung hydrogen nun. So magpo-form sila ng water. Mabubura yan. Kasi since wala na silang partner, sila na lang magsasama. Okay? So pag nagsama sila, kaka-double bond tayo doon. Okay? So yun yung dahilan na bakit nagka-double bond doon. Kasi ang ginawa natin, yung OH, kinuha niya yung hydrogen ng CH3. So mawawala silang dalawa. Since wala na silang partner, sila na lang magsasama to form the double bond. Okay? So hopefully clear sa atin yung image na kung bakit andito yung double bond, tas bakit andun yung double bond. Okay? So, ito yung big question. Bakit yung isa major? Ba't yung isa minor? Okay? Paano mo malalaman kapag major product yan? Paano mo malalaman kapag minor product yan? Basahin natin. The dehydration of alcohol generally favors the more substituted alkene, also known as the Zaitsev product. Okay? Ano ibig sabihin ng more substituted alkene? Ibig sabihin lang nun, yung alkene mo dapat, tatlo yung nakakabit sa kanya. Okay? Tatlong carbon groups. Tignan natin to. Ilang carbon groups nakadugtong dito? Ilang carbon atoms yung nakadugtong dito sa alkene na to? Bilangin natin, isang carbon. Ito yung alkene, di ba? Bilangin mo ilan nakadugtong sa kanya. Okay? So, ito yung alkene. Start ka dito. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. So, may tatlong carbon connected to the alkene. So, tawag dyan, tri-substituted. Okay? So, ganun yung tawag namin dyan. Okay? So, bilangin mo lang, ilang carbon yung nakadugtong sa alkene. Isa dito, isa doon, isa doon. So, tatlo. So, tri-substituted. Okay? How about this one? Ito yung alkene natin. Ilang carbons nakadugtong sa alkene? Ayusin ko ulit. I have your carbon here, carbon here. Ilang carbons nakadugtong dito? Ilan? Dalawa lang. Okay? Ano yung nakadugtong dito sa dalawang ano na to? Sa dalawang, sa alkene na to. Ito, pati ayon. So, dalawang carbon lang yung nakadugtong dito. Okay? Kita nyo yung difference? Dito, tri-substituted kasi tatlo yung carbon na nakadugtong mismo sa double bond. Ito, ito, ito. So, tatlong carbon nakadugtong sa double bond. So, tri-substituted. Ito naman, dalawang carbon lang nakadugtong sa double bond. Ito yung double bond. Ano yung nakadugtong na carbon? Itong carbon na to. Itong carbon na to. Natawag dyan, di-substituted. So, ano mas marami? Dalawa o tatlo? E di syempre, yung tatlo. Okay? So, that's why, ito yung ating major product. At ito, since hindi yan marami, edi minor lang. So again, the major product is the alkene that is more substituted. Ang meaning ng more substituted, mas maraming carbon na nakadugtong sa alkene. In this case, tatlo. Ito, dalawa lang. So ano tawag ulit kapag major product? Zaitsev. Okay? Ano tawag kapag minor? Ang tawag namin doon ay Hofmann. Okay? Okay. So we have the Zaitsev for the major, Hofmann for the minor. Okay? So ganun. So kailangan kabisado nyo yung mga pangalan nila. Then, okay? So more substituted, Zaitsev, less substituted, Hofmann. Okay? Ayan. Kabisaduhin nyo ng mga pangalan. Yung mga pangalan na yan, sila yung nakadiscover na may ganyan palang product. Okay? So, yan. So, si Zaitsev and Hofmann. Okay? Kung gusto nyo screenshot, go lang. Okay? So, kuha pa tayo example. Okay? So, kunin natin itong example na to sa butanol. Okay? And ito din, 2-methyl-2-butanol. 3-methyl-2-butanol. Siguro itong 3-methyl-2-butanol na lang. Okay? So, ito na lang gagamitin ko. And ito na lang. Last na to, ha? Sige. Basta ganun lang. Kailangan alam nyo saan kakabit. Okay? So, let's have 2-butanol. So, the Lewis structure is this. So, that's 2-butanol. Dalawa yung pwede niya yakbunan ng hydrogen. Pwede dito, kasi tatlo to. Pwede dito. Okay. So, pwede dito sa A. Pwede dito sa B. So, dyan siya pwede kumuha ng mga hydrogen. Okay. So, let me just show you yung A. Dito ako maglo-Lewis structure. Okay. Then the rest, hindi na Lewis structure. Okay. What if yung OH, kunin niya yung hydrogen dito sa letter A, sa kanan? So, gaya ng sinabi natin kanina. So, itong OH, kukunin niya yung hydrogen. So, magpo-form sila ng water. Ay, ang dami ko nabura. Ayan. So, yung OH, kukunin niya hydrogen, magpo-form sila ng water. Okay. Then, magdudugtong yan. Okay. Magdudugtong yan, tig-isa na yan. Okay. Kita niyo yan? Let me show you again. Okay. So, yung OH, kukunin niya yung hydrogen, po-form sila ng water. And then itong mga single na sila naman magpo-partner. So that they will form double bond. Okay? Okay? So yan. So yan yung pangalan. Tawag dyan 1-butene. Okay, how about letter B? Sa letter B naman, dito siya kukuha ng hydrogen. Okay? So ito yung draw ko na Lewis structure. Okay? So yan. Ito lang din yan. Okay? Pero ito pinakita ko yung Lewis structure sa part na to. Okay? Ano sabi natin? Yung OH na yan, kukunin niya yung isa sa mga hydrogen neta. Okay? So ano mangyari pag kinuha niya yan? Mawawala sila. So mawawala sila. Tapos, since mga single na sila, pwede na sila makipag-partner ulit. So ito single, ito single. So pwede sila mag-partner to form the double bond. Okay. So in drawing, ganito yan. So that's 2-butene. Now, ito ngayon yung question. Sino yung major product? Sino yung major product? Edi, yung letter B. Okay, so ito yung magiging major natin. Bakit siya yung major? Kasi ganito, di ba sabi ko, bilangin mo lang ilang carbons yung nakadugtong sa double bond. Okay? So dito, sa left, ito yung double bond. Ilang carbons nakadugtong dyan? Wala ka dito sa right. Wala ka dito sa left. Sa right, meron isa. So this is a mono substituted alkene. Dito naman, you have dalawang carbon connected to your alkene. You have dalawang carbon connected to the double bond. Ito yon. Tapos ito. So ito ay di-substituted. Okay? Sino mas marami? Edi ito, di-substituted. So kung sino yung marami, siya yung major product. Okay? So di-substituted, mas marami kaysa sa mono. So ito yung major, ito yung Zaitsev. Okay? Ito naman, isa lang yung carbon na nakadugtong sa kanya. So ito ay yung minor product or the Hoffman. Okay? So ganun lang siya. Okay? That's how you determine saan mapupunta yung double bond and yung mga pangalan nila. Okay? So Zaitsev, yun yung major product. Yun yung alkene that is most substituted. And yung Hoffman, ito yung alkene na least substituted. Okay? So, ganun. Okay, so yan. So, that's why sabi dito, yung 2-butene 80% kasi siya yung major, siya yung Zaitsev. And ito naman, this is 1-butene, ito yung Hoffman or the minor product. Let's focus on the last one. Hindi ko na siya i-drawing. Pero focus lang tayo. Bakit walang major, minor na nakalagay dito sa ito? Ba't walang major, minor na nakalagay? Okay? So, saan ba siya pwede kumuha ng Saan ba siya pwede kumuha ng hydrogen? Ay, o pwede dito sa CH. Saan pa? Pwede dyan sa CH dito. Pwede rin naman dito sa kanan, di ba? So, yan. Actually, dapat naka-indicate nga dito. Ito yung major product natin. Okay? Yan, so yan, nakalagay pala, major product. Okay? So this is your major product. Why? Kasi kung itong hydrogen yung kinuha niya, dito mapupunta yung double bond. So dito sa double bond, ilang carbon groups yung connected dito? Sa dalawa, tatlo. So kaya siya yung major. Ito naman, kung dito, yung OH na to, kunin niya yung hydrogen dyan, dito mapupunta yung double bond, bandang dulo. Okay? So ilang carbons nakadugtong dyan? Isa lang. Yung nakadugtong mismo, ha? Hindi kasama yung dalawang yun. Dapat din naka-highlight yun. So, isa lang yung carbon connected to your alkene. So, minor product yan. But this one, this is major kasi ilang carbons yung directly connected to the alkene? Tatlo. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Okay? So, that's why this is the major product. Yung highlight dito mali lang. So, kailangan na naka-highlight dito is yung CH lang. Kasi yan yung connected to the alkene. But yung CH3 dito, hindi sila connected to the alkene. So, that's how you determine the Zaitsev and the Hofmann product. The major product is the Zaitsev. Siya yung more substituted alkene. Yung minor product is the Hofmann. Siya yung less substituted alkene. Okay? And again, yung acid catalyzed dehydration of alcohol that can go together with the addition reaction of your alkene. Actually, that's a reversible reaction. So, ibig sabihin, by just changing your experiment setup, pwede mangyari yung isa or yung isa. Okay? So, for example, concentrated acid yung ginamit mo. Magpo-proceed yun to dehydration. Yung alcohol magiging alkene. Pag concentrated acid gamit mo. Okay? So, indicate ko dito. Huwag nyo kakalimutan yung reagent. So, dito, kailangan mo ng concentrated sulfuric acid. Magde-dehydrate yan. Pero, if ikaw naman, gusto mo lang maging alcohol yung alkene mo, pwede ka gumamit ng diluted acid na. Or just simply water lang. Diluted acid or no acid at all. Okay? So, pwede pa ganun yung mangyayari. From alkene to alcohol, addition reaction yun. Pero kapag gusto mo, yung kabaliktaran, gamit ka ng concentrated acid. Okay? That will help you produce your alkene. Okay, so tandaan nyo yung reagents na kasi nagpe-pair up yung mga reactions natin. Last reaction for alcohol is the oxidation. The oxidation of alcohol, masyadong malala yung mechanism nito pero hindi na namin papakita. Just yung products lang, okay? So, this also helps us explain bakit ang ating methanol ay toxic, okay? So, pag primary alcohol, remember, pag primary alcohol, may isang carbon connected to the carbon to which your OH is connected. Okay. Magkakadugtong na. So, may carbon na nakakonect sa carbon kung saan nakadugtong yung OH. Isa lang yun. Pag secondary, dalawa yung carbon connected to the carbon to which your OH is connected. Okay? Pag tertiary, may tatlong carbon na nakadugtong sa carbon na dinudugtongan ng OH. Okay? Or kung nalilito kayo kapag carbon usapan, hydrogen na lang tignan nyo. Kapag dalawa hydrogen, primary. Pag isa lang yung hydrogen, secondary. Pag walang hydrogen, tertiary. Okay? So it is up to you kung ang gusto mo ay yung carbon connected to the carbon to which your OH is connected, o kaya bilangin mo na lang yung hydrogen sa dinudugtungan ng OH. Pag dalawa yung hydrogen sa dinudugtungan ng OH, primary yan. Ito yun. Pag isa lang, secondary. Pag wala, tertiary. So apparently, only primary and secondary alcohols can be oxidized. Sila lang pwede. Yung tertiary, bawal. Bakit? Kasi yung tertiary, walang hydrogen. So, yun yung dahilan. But bawal siya ma-oxidize. Yung primary, when you oxidize it, it actually gets converted to carboxylic acid. Okay? So, ito yung ruta niya from primary, may aldehyde to carboxylic. Pag secondary, stop na siya sa ketone. Okay? So, yun lang tandaan nyo. Pag primary alcohol, magiging carboxylic acid. Pag secondary alcohol, magiging ketone. And kapag tertiary, wala. No reaction. So, yun lang yung tatandaan nyo. Okay? And ano yung ginagamit pang oxidize dyan? Ang ginagamit pang oxidize dito ay potassium dichromate or sodium dichromate. Okay? So, yan. So, sodium dichromate, pwede rin naman potassium dichromate. Okay? So, to emphasize on that, okay, so we have the octanol. So, octanol is a primary alcohol yan. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this is your octanol. Ano mangyayari dyan? It will be converted to octanoic acid. Siguro you might be thinking, sir, paano ko i-drawing yan? Kopyahin mo lang yan. Kopyahin mo lang. Tapos ang gawin mo, dito sa carbon na to, lagyan mo lang ng double bond O. Okay? Ganun na lang. Kasi if I show you the mechanism, mas lalo kayo may stress. Okay? But ito yung final product natin. So basically, just copy everything and then dun sa carbon nakadugtong ng OH, lagyan mo ng carbonyl. Lagyan mo lang ng double bond O. Ayan, carboxylic acid na yan. Okay? So yan yung shortcut. And actually, nung nag-aaral ako ng OrgChem, ganun lang inaalala ko. Isip ko, basta may double bond dyan. Tama naman yung sagot ko. Okay? So, ganun na. Just copy everything and then lagyan mo lang ng double bond O yung carbon na dinudugtungan ng OH. That's the carboxylic acid. Okay? So, yan. So, ganun lang siya. Of course, mahirap yung mechanism kaya hindi natin pakita. Okay na yan. Simple lang tayo. Next one, we have the secondary alcohol. Okay. Kunwari, ito naman. So, let me just copy everything. Hindi ko na ilalagay yung cis trans isomerism. Kunwari, you have an alcohol. Okay, so ito. So, using an oxidizing agent, potassium dichromate, or pwede rin naman sodium dichromate. Ito yung formula ng sodium dichromate. Ayan. So, pwedeng ito with the help of acid. So, kukopyahin nyo lang talaga yan. So, ang mangyari dito is that pag secondary alcohol, ang sabi ko, ketone ang mapoproduce. Yan, so ketone. So, paano nyo i-drawing yung product mo? So, basically, gawin nyo lang, remove mo lang yung hydrogen, tapos lagyan mo lang ng double bond dito. So, yan na yung final product. Ganun lang kasimple siya. Okay, so again, paano? So, originally, yan, that's a secondary alcohol. Kasi dalawa yung carbon na dinudugtungan ng carbon na dinudugtungan ng OH. Okay. So, dalawa yung carbon na yun. So, secondary alcohol yan. So, ang gagawin mo lang kapag ganun, tanggalin mo yung hydrogen, palitan mo ng double bond. You're done. Tapos ka na done. Okay? So, ganun lang siya kasimple. Ito yan. Kapag tertiary, walang reaction. Okay. So, paano to naging tertiary? Ang reason is tatlo kasi yung carbon connected to this carbon. So, isa, dalawa, tatlo. So, tertiary yan. This one secondary. This one's primary. Okay. So, again, paano uli gagawin? Kapag primary, dugtungan mo lang yung carbon na yun ng double bond O. Carboxylic acid na yun. Pag secondary, yung OH, tanggalin mo lang hydrogen, lagyan mo ng double bond. tapos ka na doon. Pag tertiary, walang reaction. Okay? So those are the reactions of our alcohols. Okay? So tapos na tayo sa alcohol. Ay, buti naman. Okay? So again, to summarize everything lang. So acid-base reaction of phenol. Ito lang yan. So a phenol reacting with sodium hydroxide forming salt and water. Phenol is acidic because it possesses resonance stable molecule, resonance stabilized molecule. Ang dehydration of alcohol, dalawa yung products na pwede ma-produce. We can have the Zaitsev and the Hoffman. Ang kailangan mo dito na reagent ay concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay. So again, dalawa yung product, pwedeng Zaitsev, pwedeng Hoffman. Okay. So yan, so pwedeng Zaitsev, more substituted, Hoffman, least substituted. Sino yung major product? Ito yung Zaitsev, yung more substituted product. And then lastly, yung oxidation of alcohol, tatlo yan. Pag primary, magiging carboxylic acid. Pag secondary, magiging ketone. And kapag tertiary, walang mangyayari. Okay? Paano mo ulit drawing yung sa primary? Basically, gagawin mo lang, lagyan mo lang to ng double bond O. Yung carbon na dinudugtungan ni OH, lagyan mo lang double bond O. Carboxylic acid na yan. Pag secondary, yung OH na yan, tanggalin mo lang hydrogen, palitan mo ng double bond. Tertiary, no reaction. Okay? So, yan. So, ganun lang for now. Okay? Pero bibigyan ko na kayo ng practice quiz dito kasi medyo mahirap talaga itong part na to. Okay? But again, basta tandaan nyo saan kakabit, ano yung lalagyan ng double bonds, no? Yun. So, mabubuhay ka na doon. Basta alam mo saan mo ilalagay yung double bonds. Tuloy na natin to ethers, no? We still have time naman, although nagugutom na ako. So, tuloy na natin to ethers para next meeting, unti na lang i-discuss natin. So, ethers, para siyang alcohol. Okay? Di ba alcohol, alam niyo, ROH. Pero, instead of having hydrogen, palitan mo yan ng R. Pag may concern, let me know. May nagtatype sa chat box. Okay. So, yan. So, ethers, para siyang alcohol. Ito yung alcohol, di ba? Pero instead of having hydrogen, palitan mo siya ng R. R meaning carbon. So, carbon sa left, carbon sa right, nasa gitna yung oxygen. Okay? So, those are the ethers. Okay? Okay, so ether is a functional group wherein your oxygen atom is bonded to two carbon atoms. So, may carbon on the left, carbon on the right, nasa gitna si oxygen. Yan yung ether. Some of the examples of ether are dimethyl ether, diethyl ether, ito sa vitamin E, kung mapapansin nyo may ether dyan. So ito yung ether na yon, yung oxygen na to, may carbon sa left, may carbon dito sa baba. Sa taas may carbon, sa baba may carbon. So that's an ether. Sa morphine, which is a drugs, okay, ganun din. May carbon dito, may carbon doon. For this flocentine, or in flocentine, ganun din, may ano din siya, ether. So may carbon dito, may carbon doon. So that's an ether. Okay? So yun yung mga ether, no? Basta may carbon sa paligid nila, and then nasa gitna yung oxygen. Ether yon. So ngayon, paano tayo magpapangalan ng ether? Okay? Dalawa yung uri ng ether. Symmetrical and asymmetrical. Okay? So dalawa yan. May symmetrical, may asymmetrical. Okay? So ano yung symmetrical? Pag symmetrical ether, ibig sabihin yan, kung ano yung nasa left, yun din yung nasa right. Okay? So, carbon groups. Okay? So, same carbon groups on left and right kapag symmetrical ether. Kapag asymmetrical ether, different carbon groups. Okay? Now, paano natin papangalanan? Kapag symmetrical ether, madali lang. Okay? Look at our examples earlier. Pag symmetrical ether, for example, ito. Ano pangalan nito? The name of this is methyl. Diba? Ito, methyl din. Okay? So, basically, madali lang siya. So, that's methyl, methyl. So, ibig sabihin, dimethyl. Kasi may dalawang methyl na nakadugtong sa oxygen. To indicate na ito ay ether, you just affix the word ether. So, that's dimethyl ether. Okay. Bakit dimethyl ether? May dalawa kang methyl connected to the oxygen. So, dimethyl ether. Gawin natin yung ganito. Ayan. So, ano kaya pangalan nito? Basta pangalanan mo yung carbon group. Okay. So, this one is ethyl. Ethyl yan kasi dalawa carbons. This one is ethyl din kasi dalawa carbon. So, ano pangalan niya? Di-ethyl ether. Okay. So, same lang. So, yun yung symmetric. Yun yung symmetric na ether, no? So, madali lang siya pangalanan. Lagyan mo lang ng di, then followed by the name of the alkyl group, and then the word ether. Dimethyl ether, diethyl ether, dipropyl ether, so on so forth. Okay? So, ganun lang magpangalan ng ether. Kapag symmetrical, paano kapag asymmetrical? Again, kapag asymmetrical, magkaiba sila ng group. Okay? Take for example, itong nasa baba. Okay? So, tignan nyo. So, dito sa baba, on the left, you have an ethyl. On the right, you have the methyl. Okay? So, paano mo papangalanan yan? So, alphabetical lang. Okay? Sino mo una? Si ethyl o si methyl? Si ethyl kasi letter E siya. Okay? So, ethyl, followed by the methyl, followed by the word ether. So, ethyl, methyl, ether. Ganun lang siya ka-simple. Ito. What about this? Tert-butyl and methyl. Kung naalala nyo yung mga substituent, tert-butyl yan, di ba? This is methyl. Paano mo papangalanan? Alphabetize mo lang. Again, yung tert, hindi mo papansinin sa alphabetization. So, start ka with the butyl. So, tert-butyl, methyl, ether. So, ganun lang kasimple yung nomenclature for ether. No? Basta pangalanan mo yung alkyl groups mo, which is na-discuss na natin sa chapter 6. Basta marunong ka magpangalan ng alkyl groups, pagdugtong-dugtongin mo na lang sila alphabetically. Pag symmetric yan, gamit ka ng prefix na di. So, dimethyl ether, diethyl ether, dipropyl ether. Pero kapag yan ay asymmetric, ibig sabihin magkaiba sila, pwede ka gumamit ng magkaibang alkyl groups. No? Tapos i-alphabetize mo na lang sila. Okay? So, for example, ethyl methyl ether, the tert-butyl methyl ether. Okay? Pwede rin naman, tert-butyl ethyl ether. So, something like that. Okay? So, ganun lang siya ka-simple. Also have IUPAC naming for this one. Itong binigay ko kanina, ito yung common name. And usually, common names talaga yung ginagamit for ether. No? Common name yung ginagamit. Pero, also, we have to know the IUPAC name. So, for IUPAC name, similar idea. Sabi lang dito, yung larger R group mo, yun yung parent chain. And then yung smaller R group mo, yun yung alkoxy substituent. Ano meaning kapag yan ay alkoxy substituent? Okay? So kapag yan ay alkoxy substituent, ibig sabihin, kasama niya yung oxygen. Tapos ito yung parent chain mo. Okay? So again, paano ulit? No? So ito medyo kakaiba siya sa kanina. Ito super dali lang, no? Kasi common name to eh. Pero for IUPAC name, ang parent chain mo ay yung larger R group. Pero yung smaller R group mo, yun yung alkoxy. What do we mean by alkoxy? Kasama niya si oxygen. Okay? So maraming tawag dyan. We can have methoxy, ethoxy, propoxy, butoxy, ayan. So methoxy, ibig sabihin CH3O. Yan yung nakadugtong. Ethoxy, ibig sabihin CH3, CH2O. Yan yung nakadugtong dito. Propoxy, edi tatlong carbon. Okay? Butoxy, edi apat. Okay? So basta lalagyan mo lang ng oxy. Ito. So kunwari, ito ay ethane. Ethane yan, di ba? So yung ethane, gawin mo lang oxy. Ethoxy. Tapos ito, kung ano pangalan niya, as is na yun. So this is pentane. So ethoxypentane. Okay? So balik ulit tayo dito sa mga to. Kasi may mga, ano sila eh, may mga common IUPAC name din sila. So ito, pangalanan natin IUPAC name. O sino mas mahaba? Edi yung ethyl. So siya yung parent. Ito yung alkoxy. So isasama niya yung oxygen sa pangalan niya. So ano pangalan niya? So that will be methoxy ethane. So yun yung pwedeng name niya. Methoxyethane o kaya ethyl methyl ether. Kung sino yung maigsi yung carbon chain, kukunin niya yung oxy na suffix. Methoxyethane. How about this one? Okay, so we have a methyl, we have a tert-butyl. Sino mas malaki yung R group? Obviously, yung tert-butyl, ang daming carbons dun eh. So this will be your parent. This will be your alkoxy. So yung methyl, palitan mo lang ng oxy, methoxy. So this will be methoxy, methoxy, tert-butane. So ang pangalan niya is yung alkane lang. Okay. So ganun lang. So methoxyethane, methoxy tert-butane. So ganun. There are two ways of naming them. Ako ginagamit ko talaga is common name. But again, we have to be familiar with the IUPAC name. Mas complicated si IUPAC this time. Okay? Pero kailangan alam niyo kung paano yung names nila. Okay? Ayun. Don't worry, magbibigay na ako ng practice quiz dito kasi ang daming ideas, no? So I know na medyo saturated na kayo right now. But I hope you will bear with me. Malapit na tayo matapos naman. Okay? So yan yung nomenclature lang for ethers, no? So common name, pangalanan mo lang yung dalawang R groups then followed by the word ether. Kapag IUPAC name, yung shorter chain, it will be called alkoxy. Yung longer chain, yung pangalan niya is like alkane lang. Okay? Alkane lang siya. Ito, hindi ko na-explain pala. This one's called methoxycyclohexane. Kasi obviously, ito yung larger R group. So this is your parent. And ito yung alkoxy mo. Methoxy. Yan. So methoxycyclohexane. Okay? So ganun lang siya. So again, don't worry. Bibigay ako ng practice quiz na. Ano po sa masakit na utak niya. Kasi ako rin, nagugutom na ako. But tapusin na natin. Still have time pa naman. Okay, some of the compounds have their common names as well. For example, the ethylene oxide and the tetrahydrofuran. So, saan ginagamit ang ethylene oxide? This is used for sterilization. Yung mga gloves, yun, mga face mask, bago sila ibenta, they are sterilized first, no? Even yung mga gamit sa hospital, they are being sterilized by ethylene oxide. Okay? Kaya minsan makikita mo sa packaging, may nakalagay na ETO. Yan. Ethylene oxide minsan meaning yan. Pero iba-iba sila ng naming. Minsan ETO lang nakalagay. Yan. Minsan lang, ethylene oxide talaga nakalagay. Anyway, safe naman yan. Wala naman siyang adverse effect kasi nga disinfectant talaga siya. Okay? Tetrahydrofuran, this is one of the best solvent in organic chemistry, especially if you want to handle non-polar substances. Ayun. Kasi ang ating ethers medyo hindi siya ganun ka-polar. Okay? So we can use tetrahydrofuran. So for the characteristic reaction, dalawa lang yan. Okay. So hindi na ako magbibigay ng matinding mechanism dito. Basta dalawa lang yung reaction ng ating ether. It can undergo acid catalyzed cleavage or acid promoted cleavage and yung auto-oxidation. Okay? So ano nangyayari kapag acid promoted cleavage? So basically you just have an ether. You react it with your acid HX. Ang mangyayari dyan is magiging RX yan. And another R prime X. So, dalawang step yan nangyayari actually. Okay. So, mangyayari lang dyan yung R, dudugtong sa X. Then, itong kabilang R, dudugtong din uli sa X. Okay. So, for example, we have dimethyl ether. Dimethyl ether. Ito yan, dimethyl ether. Pag nakakita kayo ng ganitong reaction sa quiz, okay. So, diethyl ether in the presence of acid catalyst, okay, HCl. Ang mapoproduce mo niyan ay CH3Cl at isa pang CH3Cl. Okay. So, yan. So, ito yung R, dudugtong siya sa Cl. Itong R din, dudugtong sa Cl. So, this time, parehas sila. Okay? Kasi, symmetrical ether yan. So, parehas yung products na mapoproduce nila. But what if asymmetrical sila? Kunwari, nasa quiz, ganito. We have here methoxyethane, okay? Or ethyl methyl ether. So, paano yung mga products niyan? So, basically, itong CH3, kopyahin mo lang. Then, yung halide, Cl. And then, itong another R group, kopyahin mo lang. Then, yung halide, didugtong mo lang. Okay? So, that's how the acid-promoted cleavage of ethers happen. Okay? So, basically, napuputol lang siya. Yung oxygen nagiging water. Okay? So, nagiging water siya at the end. Pero, yung iyong mga R groups sa gilid na ether, nagiging sila, alkyl halides. No? Alkyl halides. Ibig sabihin ng alkyl halide, ano lang yan? Alkane na may halogen, alkyl halide. Okay? So, ganun lang mangyayari. Putulin mo lang siya into 2, then dugtungan mo ng Cl at each end. Okay? So, just as shown here below. And then, of course, the last one, okay, the last one will be the auto-oxidation. Ito super complicated neto. But the idea lang yung kailangan natin. Ethers can undergo auto-oxidation. And this happens to your food. I think na kwentuhan na natin to sa sa phenols, 'di ba? Yung ating mga lipids, they actually contain an ether linkage. Okay? May ether doon or ester doon. So, yan yung mga ating pagkain din. Na may ether doon, may ester linkage. So, ano nangyayari? In the presence of oxygen, okay, they actually turn into hydroperoxides. Okay? Naging ganyan yung itsura ng molecule. Yun nasa right. So, ano nangyayari kapag nangyari yan? That can actually lead into the degradation of your molecule to carboxylic acids and aldehydes. Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo last time, kapag yung pagkain napapanis, maasim, at saka mabaho. Because ano po produce doon ay carboxylic acid, maasim, mabaho is aldehyde. Okay? So basta the idea lang is that ether can undergo auto-oxidation in the presence of oxygen. Okay? And it is a very slow reaction. Kaya yung food natin, matagal din bago mapanis na. It will take a while, pero mapapanis siya. Okay? So that's why kapag kayo may food sa bahay, lagay nyo sa airtight container so that hindi siya mag-undergo ng auto-oxidation process. Okay? Tell that to your parents. Or kung kayo nagluluto sa bahay, keep that in mind. Kasi yun yung dahilan ng pagkapanis ng food. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, again, last words na. So, ethers are very ideal because other than the two reactions I mentioned kanina, wala na siyang ibang reaction. Okay? Meaning that ethers are generally stable unless gawin mo yung dalawang reaction na yun. Okay? Unlike yung mga alkenes, di ba sobrang daming reaction, yung benzene sobrang daming reaction, pero pagdating sa ether, wala masyado, dalawa lang. Okay? So that's why we say that ethers are very stable. They are resistant to chemical changes except for the two reactions I mentioned na. Yun. So, yun yung dahilan bakit sila ay ginagamit as solvent in OrgChem because they are inert. Hindi agad sila nag-react. Okay? And ay, thank you Lord. Tapos na tayo. Kasi next one is thiol sa Thursday na ta. Pero hindi ko na kaya. Nagugutom na ako. So, yan. So, basically, that's our lesson for today. We have alcohols and thiols. Again, for alcohol nomenclature, it is the same as alkanes. The reaction, acid-base lang yan for phenol. For for alcohols, we can dehydrate it to form alkene. In the dehydration process, dalawa yung pwede mangyari. The Zaitsev and the Hofmann product. Zaitsev is the more substituted. Hofmann is the least substituted. And then lastly, alcohols can undergo oxidation. Primary alcohols turn into carboxylic acid. Secondary alcohols turn into ketones. Tertiary alcohol does not react with an oxidizing agent. And then we have the ethers. Ang nomenclature ng ether, madali lang. Pag common, pangalanan mo lang yung dalawang R group followed by the word ether. Pero kapag IUPAC, kung sino yung pinakamahabang chain, yun yung pangalan ng parent chain mo. Kung sino yung maigse, siya yung alkoxy mo. Again, ano gagawin sa alkoxy? Yung dugtungan mo lang yung prefix ng oxy. Methoxy, ethoxy, propoxy, butoxy, pentoxy, hexoxy. May ganun ba? Meron naman ata. Heptoxy, something like that. So, ganun lang siya. And then also, something to keep in mind that yung ating ethers, they are very stable in the sense that they don't react that much. Dalawa lang yung reaction nila dito. So, ang dalawang reaction na yan is the acid-promoted cleavage wherein yung dalawang R groups magiging alkyl halide. Pwede rin siya mag-undergo ng auto-oxidation process but it will take a while. And this is somehow analogous with our degradation of food, no? Kasi once auto-oxidation happens, tuloy-tuloy na yon. Kaya yung pagkain, kapag napanis na, hindi mo na siya mare-revive, no? Kahit initin mo pa yan, mapapanis at mapapanis yan. Because you have your radicals in the food already, which are turning your food into carboxylic acids and aldehydes, which smell bad and taste sour. Okay? So, yan. And so those are the reaction of ethers. Next meeting, ano tayo? Thiols and amine. Okay? So yung thiols, madali lang yan. Amines, madali lang yan. Okay? Itong alcohol lang talaga tayo matatagalan. Okay? And so thank you. And pasensya na if medyo rush tayo na kasi gusto ko matapos agad on time. Okay. But I hope you still catch up some ideas. Don't worry, I will give you practice quiz on this chapter kasi medyo complicated stuff talaga siya. So don't worry, magpo-post na lang ako sa Canvas by the weekend ulit ng practice quiz. Yung quiz 7, wala siyang practice quiz kasi madali na yun. Basically, kung ano yung examples natin last time, yun din yung nasa quiz. Pero dito, medyo marami. So, maraming dapat tayong practice quiz. Okay? Ayun lang. So, thank you for attending the session. Although, onti lang tayo compared to our usual class size. Still appreciate yung attendance niyo. Okay? So, see you again sa Thursday for the last two functional groups, the thiols and the amines. Okay? So, ingat and I hope you learned something today kahit medyo dami nang nangyari. Okay? So, see you again next Thursday. Bye-bye. Ingat always.